Hey there guys, so today what I want to go through is the next step in this process of getting gun turrets onto asteroids and then actually using them in some way, shape or form that will make sense for the game. So the next thing that obviously makes sense for us to do is be able to put gun turrets onto asteroids or onto planet surfaces or onto the moon. And how do we go about doing that? That's not exactly obvious how we can go about doing something like that. So my approach here was to do something as simple as casting a ray into the scene from the camera through into the scene, like directly straight out into the scene. And what that will do is that will then cycle through all the objects in the world and say, okay, this ray that I've shot out into the scene, which object do I hit first? And whatever object that is, cool, that's the object that I will want to be building on when I say, oh, okay, now I want to build a gun turret. So what I did here was put in some visualizations to actually see that. The object that I have selected via my raycasting is highlighted in this kind of magenta color, and I've repurposed that intersection object that I had set up to be placed in the point of intersection between the ray and the object that you hit. And that gives us the ability to place objects on other objects. So what we have here is the gun turret is now being placed. I pressed the button B on the keyboard and that allowed me to place a gun turret on this asteroid. And well, why stop at putting one gun turret on the asteroid? Let's put on multiple gun turrets. What this will allow us to do is, and this is kind of going to be a mechanic of the game, is to build bases, to build like defensive and offensive and mining bases in the game world. So whether it's on asteroids, whether it's on moons, whether it's on planet surfaces, that's going to be quite an important part of the game. I haven't really spoken about how this game is going to be a game yet, but this is a pretty important part of how this game is going to operate. So we've got this pretty cool view where we've got all these gun turrets sitting on this asteroid. Now this is a placeholder model. I mean, hopefully we'll get a better model than this when we actually go and design one. But this model allows us to at least get a feel for what's going on here. And well, clearly you can imagine a world where, you know, you're firing at these gun turrets, they're firing back at you, and then you're using other kind of asteroids to deflect bullets or to block bullets hitting you, and then you try and attack the defenses that the other player has set up. That's the idea. And something I didn't mention in the other videos, but you might have seen it, is I've actually added in a moon into the world. I thought it was quite a nice feature because it gives us again that sense of scale of the world. Now I need to do a little bit more work on this because clearly as soon as you start getting pretty far out in the game world in terms of position, everything starts to get a little bit wobbly because the floating point precision is starting to get less precise. And the whole point of the way that I set up being able to do positions combats that. And for the most part, I've done a pretty good job there. But still for things like matrix transforms, etc., there's still a problem there that we're not allowing for it accurately. But anyway, what we can do here is build our gun turrets on the surface of the moon. So let's go and do that. And you can see that not only can you build gun turrets on asteroids or the moon, but you can also build gun turrets on other gun turrets. And that allows for pretty ridiculous situations such as this, which will obviously be something that we want to remedy going forward. And it's quite interesting, actually. I need to figure out why exactly this is happening. But all those guys, once they're stacked up on each other, start wobbling quite a bit. Where, given the idea of what's happening with the code, I would have imagined that they should have been pretty well fixed. I think that's because of this slight rotation approach that I'm using. It kind of builds up in a tower, right? So that once you get to the top of the tower, the amount of rotation that's actually happening is quite significant. But anyway, that's it for this video. For the next video, or for the next series of videos, what we'll want to do, I think the end point of this, is to allow for the gun turret to lock on to a player, and actually, well, first of all, for the top of the gun turret to be able to rotate around and then ultimately lock onto a point of interest and be able to kind of shoot bullets, lasers, whatever, and then have that so that they automatically start firing if you get in a certain range or something. That I think will look really awesome, and it will start to add a bit of a game dynamic to the world at the moment, which is at the moment a bit lifeless, to be fair. And yeah, let's see what we can pull out the bag there, and hopefully it will be something pretty awesome. Cool. Let's see you then, guys.